Kakamega Governor Wycliffe Oparanya has been re-elected as the chairperson of the Council of Governors in Kenya. Mwangi wa Iria, the Murang'a governor, has also been re-elected as the vice chair of the Council of Governors. Also re-elected was Professor Kivutha Kibwana, who will continue serving as the whip of the Council of Governors. And I followed that elections very closely. And I came to one conclusion, that election was all about the Building Bridges initiative. It was about 2022 politics. President Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga were not going to allow new team to take over the Council of Governors. Let me put it plainly, that President Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga successfully locked out the allies of the Deputy President from the Council of Governors. So today I want us to look at this election and why this election is likely to play a key role during the Building Bridges initiative campaigns, and it's going to define 2022 politics. But before we do that, if you're bumping on this video for the first time, I want you to just take a minute. Oh, a minute is just too long. Just 2 seconds and hit the subscribe button so that next time we produce a video like this, you get notified. By the way, before we go on, a friend just delivered me this book. Hope you are reading. I just collected it from Easy Coach. This book is How to Unlock Your Life's Destiny. And he delivered it to me as a gift for this year. 12 Ways to Break Out of Life Stronghold. It's by Pastor John Musamali. I want to thank him so much. He just told me to go to Easy Coach and pick a present. And I'm very happy. I'm going to read all of this. So may God bless you, my brother. Now back to the main issue. Last week, President Uhuru Kenyatta was in Mombasa. And the president was in Mombasa on a working holiday. He reshuffled his cabinet while in Mombasa. And that reshuffle was not just a mere statement. The allies of the deputy president was kicked out. And then the president also met with the governors, 24 of them, in Mombasa. The details of what they discussed is still not known. But from the choice of the governors who were invited to that meeting, I can only conclude that the president shared with them his vision for the Council of Governors, or what the kind of, or maybe he campaigned for Oparanya and his team. And that's why there was no opponent facing Oparanya. And the Council of Governors is going to play a key role. And this is why the deputy president must be worried. I want us just to go back a bit so that we can understand the background of the Council of Governors. Council of Governors was established under Intergovernmental Act to bring together the 47 governors. And the roles of the Council of Governors is well stipulated. Let me just, there are so many, I don't want to go through all of them. Consultations among counties, sharing information on performance of counties, considering matters of common interest to county governments, like the referendum now, dispute resolutions between counties within the framework provided under the Act, facilitating capacity buildings among governors, receiving reports and monitoring. So the functions and the roles of Council of Governors are just so many. And the first person who was elected as the chair of the Council of Governors was one man called Isaac Ruto. And why was Isaac Ruto elected or appointed? By that time, Isaac Ruto was a very close ally of the deputy president. Remember, when the deputy president was leaving ODM party, few leaders from Rift Valley had hopes in him. And one of them who had high hopes on William Ruto was Isaac Ruto. In fact, the propaganda which destroyed Raila Odinga using the Mau was from Isaac Ruto and Zakayo Cheruiyot. So Isaac Ruto was a close confidant of the deputy president, and he campaigned very strongly for Jubilee Party or for URP Party in the first term. And he was rewarded with that appointment. And we all know how the Council of Governors, that position, elevated Isaac Ruto to the national platform. And during the re-election of his bid, Isaac Ruto had already broken ranks with William Ruto and to some extent Jubilee Party. But the governor still managed to elect him because he managed to side with the ODM side, and there were certain governors who believed that because of Isaac Ruto's belief in the devolution, he was the right guy. So he ended up winning. Then the next chair of the Council of Governors was Peter Munya, still the Meru governor under Jubilee Party. And we all know how Munya ended up forming his own political party, how he became powerful, and the rest is history. And the third Council of Governors chair was Josephat Nanok. Nanok was elected in 2017. But something happened after the elections, because the Council of Governors are elected for a one-year term. But you can only serve for 2 terms, which means you can't serve for more than 2 years. So Governor Nanok was elected when Kenyans were almost going for the elections. But immediately after the elections, Jubilee Party had the majority of governors. So they called for a meeting. And in that meeting, which happened in December of 2017, an election was conducted. And Salim Mvurya was elected as the chair of the Council of Elders, the Council of Governors, deputized by Anne Waiguru, who had just been elected as the Kirinyaga governor. So the two were elected. And for those who follow the politics of this country, Salim Mvurya was initially in ODM, and I think he served as vice chair. Then he contested under Jubilee. He defected to Jubilee, but through William Samoei Ruto. So basically what happened in that August election, that October elections, that December 17 election, was that William Ruto propelled his people to lead the Council of Governors. That's Anne Waiguru and Salim Mvurya. Because by that time, Anne Waiguru and William Ruto was still an item. But then, something which I'm just trying to think, was there a possibility that Uhuru and Raila could have started talking around that time? I'm just thinking. Because Anne Waiguru and Mvurya, despite being elected that early, never assumed office to allow Governor Nanok to complete his term. And Governor Nanok completed his term. And Governor Nanok completed his term despite being one of those key critics of the deputy president and the president himself. So was there something which Uhuru and Raila knew which made them not to allow William Samoei Ruto's person not to take over the Council of Governors by that time, by December 2017? Then Governor Nanok was replaced by Wycliffe Oparanya. Wycliffe Oparanya is the deputy party leader of ODM party. and he's been serving. And many people had expected that the Council of Governors were likely to elect a new person. But that has not done. I mean, that has not happened. Why? Because it was clear the direction the president was and the direction the Raila Odinga was taking. So I think none of the governors were willing to challenge Wycliffe Oparanya and the team. Because Wycliffe Oparanya is emerging as a strong player, a key player in building bridges initiative. And for those who follow the politics of this country, last weekend in Kakamega County, Uhuru stated something that in central Kenya, they have agreed with the president that Uhuru is going to take the national face of that campaign from central Kenya. But Mwangi wa Iria was going to take the was going to be the face of that campaign in central Kenya. And I thought that was an endorsement on Mwangi wa Iria. And Mwangi wa Iria recently also removed his gloves and was willing to take on everybody who dared the president. So basically, Mwangi wa Iria has succeeded in crawling back to the side of President Uhuru Kenyatta. Because initially, Mwangi wa Iria and Uhuru Kenyatta were not in very good terms. And that explains why President Uhuru Kenyatta has been using someone like Kanini Kega, a person who is not known, and Uhuru has been trying to elevate him. But now I don't know how that's going to play out in case the president will now start working with Mwangi wa Iria in central Kenya. And to prove himself, Mwangi wa Iria recently issued this command.
I will deal with it here now. And I'm not threatening anybody, but I'm saying I'll deal with it. I'm in Kihalu, and I'm speaking from Kihalu, right? And I want to say, it is not coming from that. So sasa mimi nimesema ili nimalize siasa. Wewe ukitoa siasa rais hapa, hakuna mgeni atakuja kuzuia rais katika kaunti ya Murang'a. I will take charge, I will protect the presidency, I will protect him. And I want that to go like that. And because I know people who lies in arms and say, well, Iria is saying what? Me, I don't belong to any political camp myself. Me, I have my own camp. I have clearly said, I'm contesting in 2022 through my party. So I'm not in anybody's camp. And therefore, I will not allow those things here. And I'm clear. So, because people try me, if you want to know what will happen, and I'm not threatening, you just try.
Now, that's Mwangi wa Iria, and he's been retained. Now, if you look at that lineup of the Council of Governors, you'll realize that all of these guys are going to play a key role in the Building Bridges initiative. As a matter of fact, I want to assume that the president is now going to use governors because the MPs are being controlled probably by the Deputy President William Samoei Ruto, or it will be very difficult to manage the MPs because the number of MPs are so many. In fact, I'm going to go into details and analyze that particular aspect. But why am I saying that this Building Bridges initiative, this Council of Governors elections was about Building Bridges initiative, was about Building Bridges initiative, was about 2022 and a strategy to lock out the deputy president? Why am I saying so? I think three reasons. Number one, on the Building Bridges initiative, why am I saying so? In the Building Bridges initiative, for that Building Bridges initiative to succeed, the governors must be involved. And the president and Raila Odinga, from their strategies from Kisii, because in Kisii, during the Nyanza consultative meeting, they used the governors. Kisumu governor, Migori governor, Homa Bay governor, Siaya governor, Kisii governor, and Nyamira governor. And these governors mobilized the people and took them to Kisii. Again, in Again, in Western, that's the exact thing. They use the governor for Kakamega, the governor for Vihiga, the governor for Busia, the governor for Bungoma, and the governor for Trans Nzoia. And these governors managed to mobilize people to that event. And next weekend, the Building Bridges Initiative is taking their campaigns to Mombasa. And already today, the governors from the coast held meetings with Raila Odinga. So that tells you Raila Odinga and Uhuru Kenyatta have agreed in principle that they are going to use the governors to advance that agenda. And therefore, for that agenda to be advanced, they needed to take charge of the Council of Governors. And what a better way of convincing the governors to retain the officials, because those guys are already working with them. And as a matter of fact, even if elections were to be held, William Ruto's camp were going to start from a disadvantage point. Nani is out, Waititu is out, and I saw him there, but you could see he was not very comfortable. Waititu is out. The Laikipia governor, Moses Leila is out. Nairobi governor is out. So that's on BBI. Number two is locking out the deputy president. The elections, the Building Bridges Initiative is going to be high voltage. And you all know that the deputy president has been trying to avoid anything that can cause any friction between him and the president. That's why he's supporting the Building Bridges Initiative. But Uhuru and Raila are not taking chance. They don't want a situation where they'll assume everything is okay, then at some point, sabotage will creep in. So the only thing for them is to ensure that they lock out the allies of the deputy president. And that's exactly what they are even going to do. In central Kenya, the allies of the DP are going to be locked out of the Building Bridges Initiative. So it's a strategy. And lastly, it's about 2022 politics. And this basically means the expanded executive. If it's going to be the prime minister, okay, if it's going to be the president, what powers are we going to add to the presidency and which ones are we going to remove? Remember the other day, it was reported that the Nakuru governor, Lee Kinyanjui, was quoted claiming that the presidency, as it is today, is a sharp sword, that they cannot just hand over to anybody else because it's too sharp. So they needed to blunt it a bit. So it's all about 2022. And if it's going to be the prime minister, how is that prime minister going to be elected? And is it going to favor Uhuru Kenyatta? Is it going to favor Raila Odinga? And if it's not going to favor them, what next? So they don't want to take chance with those. So in my view, the re-election of Wycliffe Oparanya, unopposed, Mwangi wa Iria, unopposed, Kivutha Kibwana, unopposed, and most of the team, in my view, is part and parcel of the greater politics of this country. It's about Building Bridges Initiative. It's about the referendum, upcoming referendum. It's about 2022 politics. I don't know what you think. So if you have a different perspective, which I'd be very glad to receive, if you have a different perspective, I just want you to take a minute or two and drop me your comment, because on this video I'm going to respond to each and every comment. And to the subscribers, I want to continue thanking you guys for your continued support. I always appreciate the support. I know most of you have always supported this channel through very many ways. Some even materially, very many ways. Some even morally. There are people who keep on calling and giving me advice. There are people who are always on WhatsApp, chatting up. And you just know how crazy it is, because you can imagine the number of WhatsApp messages I read, especially if I leave my number on this channel. But a lot of you guys are patient enough. I always try to respond to each and every those WhatsApp messages, but it's overwhelming. In fact, It forced me to buy another phone specifically for WhatsApp because of the number of messages I received. Thank you guys, and please may you have a good day. And before I leave, by the way, Moses Kuria, his press statement has been overwhelming. He didn't talk about Chris Musando as people expected. People wanted that press conference to be about Chris Musando. He hasn't done that. So why? Thank you guys, and may you have a good day.